Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sabhagano Raghunatham Vitantam Sajivam Sadvetam Sadhutam Arjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagano Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamshcha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjalakshakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunashtarutam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasam Namami Tridandiram Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padam Hridhi Chaitanya Leela Saram Narayanam Tam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshaparine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Iti Namine Ativartya Charitraya Svashritanam Chapaline Jiva Dukke Sadartaya Shri Nam Premadayine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanile Daitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnanodayine Prabhave Madhurya Ujjvala Premabhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Vinatarine Rupanuga Virudhava Siddhanta Kvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Samodhe Padam Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gaura Virbhavamestam Nirdeshta Sajanam Priyam Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhunyaiva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Nam ब्रह्मणे गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतं सुरतो ममोर्मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजो राधामनोहरम्। दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमान् श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधाशीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानः स्मरामि। श्रीमान्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवताततरस्थितः कर्षन्देनुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथश्रीस्तुनः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছ স্থান। বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছ স্থান। অজ্ঞাদিলা মোরে এ ব্রজে বসে হরি নাম করো গান। অজ্ঞাদিলা মোরে এ ব্রজে বসে হরি নাম করো গান। করো কৃপা করি গৌরবন মাঝে গুরুবে দিয়াছ স্থান। বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবন মাঝে গুরুবে দিয়াছ স্থান। কিন্তু কবে প্রভু যোগ্যতায় দিবে এ দাসেরে দয়া করি। কিন্তু কবে প্রভু যোগ্যতায় দিবে এ দাসেরে দয়া করি। চিত্ত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব একান্তে ভজিব হরি। চিত্ত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব একান্তে ভজিব হরি। গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছ স্থান। শৈশব যৌবনে জর সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ। জর সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ। নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ। নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ। গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবন মাঝে গুরুবে দিয়াছ স্থান। বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবন মাঝে গুরুবে দিয়াছ স্থান। ভাগ্যে দেখো পঞ্চরোগে হত কেমনে ভজিব বলো। ভাগ্যে দেখো পঞ্চরোগে হত কেমনে ভজিব বলো। কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমার চরণে করিয়াছি সুনিধন। কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমার চরণে করিয়াছি সুনিধন। গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছ স্থান। Hari Hari Kabir Mor Bhave He Nodino, page 41. Sata Akrodha Paramananda, page 60. प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। Imam Gauranga Vinana here, page 69. Prema Paro
Deva
Kalayatinainam Dishivalitam. Page 342. Social distance. Radhe Radhe.
Maharaja is very strange. We've got 4 people here. 2 are sannyasis. 1 is Didi. 1 Paramahamsa in the corner. 4 sannyasis. Wow. We've got 4 sannyasis and Didi. And another up-and-coming sannyasi in the back over there. So I've been reading every day, studying and lecturing from Going Beyond Vaikuntha, but I feel very, how do you say? Very unqualified to speak in front of this audience. Because here we have Pujapad Sajjan Maharaj, who I've known since I was a little kid, disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Pujapad Shroti Maharaj, who I've known since I was a little kid, well, since I was 20 anyhow. Also disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. We are born on the same day, many years apart. And then Srimati Didi. Who looks older? I think I look older. Srimati Didi, who has had darshan. I've just been given the order to sit down and continue. I'm talking too much. I was just going to say how she's had darshan of Param Gurudeva Bhaktivedanta Kishori Goswami Maharaj dancing with his arms in the air. Disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Shiksha, disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and been practicing darshan of Krishna. So she's giving me the order to sit down and start.
One time I asked him why do you leave him at work? He said, because I have an extra. And I said, oh, I also use
Srila Hare Gurave Guruchandraya Radhikaya Kadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Agyanatiradhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Vanchakam Bhaktarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giri Yakrapat Maham Vande Shri Guru Dinatari. Maybe we can make an arrangement to actually have a microphone. I have something with a cable that we can plug directly to the phone. Starting tomorrow. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times into the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev Nitya Lila Vishnu Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and the same unto the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Vishnu Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to all of our Rupanava Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, my Dandavat Pranam. Also to all of those who are watching on Facebook live streaming, who are trapped in your homes in lockdown at this time, I'm offering you my Dandavat Pranam. So we're going to continue with the reading of Going Beyond Vaikuntha, This is based on Srila Gurudev's lectures, his Bhav Anuvad on Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Sanatan Goswami. And our Srila Prabhupada has stated, and our Guru Varga have stated, that this Brihad Bhagavatamrita is the foundation for all of the books of our Goswamis. It is full of all essential tattvas and truth. And so from that point, all of the other books have manifested. And our Srila Prabhupada said that we would do well to read the books of the Goswamis like Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So before beginning, I would like to offer a prayer to Sri Sanatan Goswami, by Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, by Raga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatna, Apayanan Mam Anubhipshamandam, Kripambudirya Padalukaduki, Sanatanastam Parvamashrayami. I'm praying in the lotus feet of Sri Sanatan Goswami Pad and Srila Gurudev that may a drop of their moods from the pages of this beautiful book manifest and awaken within our hearts. And he adjusted the last line, Shri Keshavastvam Prabhumashrayam. So yesterday we were reading about how there are so many different kinds of persons who are acting in the role of Guru. Most are cheaters. It's very rare to find a real Guru. And Srila Gurudev said even more rare than that is to find a real disciple, Sat Sishya. Much more rare than a real Guru. But many persons in the role of Guru, if you come to them and you ask for any material thing, they will give you that material thing. This is not considered mercy. This is considered a form of cheating. But Sri Guru will only give us what he has in his heart, the treasure of his heart, and that is bhakti. Gurudev said that is the greatest wealth. So, Srila Gurudev was referring to this Brahman who was residing in Govardhan, and he had approached Kamakya Devi, who was Parvati, the consort of Mahadev. He had approached her for the greatest wealth, but knowing that he had so much sukriti and that he was moving forward on the path of bhakti, she decided to not give him any lesser thing, but to give him the greatest wealth, which is bhakti. So how did she give it to him? In the form of Gopal mantra, which we don't chant publicly, but it's a very, very powerful mantra which brings one ultimately to the mood of the gopis.
Mantra Shastra, the best of all.
Yes, best of all the mantras. So Kamakya Devi bestowed this mantra upon this Brahman. This Brahman, from this mantra, it was guiding him. Because a mantra, a proper mantra, is not just a sound vibration. It is the sound form of a person, and it has potency and power. Many people chant so many mantras kind of randomly. Oh, I found this one, I found that one. And we don't know why, or they don't know why. But mantras have potency and power. And if we're going to chant them, we should understand its effect. We should understand the effect of that mantra, and then allow it to take us. So this Brahman was being carried by the power of the mantra to many different places. But then he would arrive in those places and he would say, this is not for me, this is not for me. In this connection, there's one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, starting with Aho Bata Svat Pachatto Gariyan. It is understood that by the time one has faith in the name of Krishna, faith in the name of Krishna as the supreme and the topmost, that they have already done all austerities, bathed in all holy rivers, studied all scriptures, gone to all of the places, all of the dhams. They've done every tapasya and also experienced every other path that there is to experience. They have already done all of this for thousands of lifetimes by the time they have come to the point of having faith in the name of Krishna. So you may see in someone's life, they may start off maybe born in the West, for example. Someone will be born there, maybe even in a family of meat eaters. And suddenly someone like Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada comes and practically just snaps his fingers, and that person gives up everything, including their inheritance, their family, their children, everything, and serves day and night, trying to carry out the order of their Gurudev. And then goes deeper and deeper. How is it possible, suddenly, from that to that? So much samskar and sukriti has been manifested or awakened over a long period of time. Srila Gurudev was speaking about that in the previous page. That through so much samskar, through so much sukriti, he said it might just be one shlok that awakens everything, and they will give up everything and run on the path of bhakti. So here, she gave him this mantra, Gopal mantra, and then he was moving from place to place. He went to Assam, and from there he went to the ocean at Gangasagar. And then from there he went to Gaya, but he was feeling indifferent, meaning none of these places were affecting him. He was feeling indifferent toward them. And then he started becoming a little bit attracted to the conception of liberation or mukti. But because he's chanting this Gopal mantra, again Parvati blessed him with her darshan, and at this time he also achieved the darshan of her eternal consort Sri Shankar, who said, "Beware, don't stay here, go away from here immediately." So Shankar was warning him away from this attraction to liberation, freedom from suffering, but it is devoid of seva to Krishna. There's one verse in Padyavali by Srila Goswami. There Hanuman himself is saying, if I were ever to be offered the position of merging into the Lord, I could never accept it if it is devoid of the ability, or if it does not give me the ability to serve my beloved Lord. I will never accept it. And we know from the history of Hanuman how he was never satisfied unless he had service to the Lord. Once upon a time, Hanuman, he was doing all of the sevas. Srila Gurudev would tell this. He was doing everything. And Sita, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna, they were feeling, hey, we have nothing to do. We also want to serve Sri Ram. So they had a private meeting without Hanuman. And they decided, Lakshman will take this shift, Bharat will take this shift, Shatrugna take this shift, Sita will take the night shift, and they all took all of the sevas. And they forgot poor Hanuman. Hanuman said, what about me? What about me? They said, everything is taken. He said, it cannot be. Please give me any seva, any seva. Without seva, I cannot live. And they said, sorry, it's all been taken. He said, what about when Ram yawns? Does anyone snap their fingers for him when he's yawning? And they said, no. But Ram doesn't yawn. He's Bhagavan. He never gets tired or anything. But Hanuman was so desperate for any seva. He said, can I have this seva? They said, sure, you can have it. So he's sitting there outside and day and night only meditating on Sri Ram and doing his seva. Snapping his fingers. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Completely absorbed, seeing that Ram is like this, and he's snapping his fingers. Why? It is said that when you yawn, in Vedic culture, when you're opening your mouth, then any negative energy or spirit or bhoot can enter. So you snap or you clap or something. In the West, we block it like this. When you yawn, you cover, to stop any negative energy from entering. So Hanuman's mood is always protecting as well. He's a servant, but he serves in every way. So he was completely absorbed, snapping his fingers and chanting the name of Ram. At that time, what was happening inside the palace? Ram could not function properly. He couldn't even speak to anyone. Everyone was like, what's happening to him? They couldn't serve him normally because he was just constantly yawning. By the power of Hanuman's love, he made Ram yawn. Constantly. And they realized afterward what's going on. But he was so disheartened at the idea of not having seva. Also, to merge into Nirvishesh Brahm. This is devoid of seva to Bhagavan. What is the intrinsic nature of every soul? Jivera Surupahoy Krishna Nitya Das. Das means seva. If I cannot serve, then what is that? This is not an ultimate resting place for any soul. It's a state of, but it has no real eternal place for any soul because it is not within the nature of the soul to not serve Bhagavan, to not serve Krishna. So Shankar told this Brahmin, beware, don't stay here, go away from here immediately. This is mercy. In this connection, because I just mentioned Shankar and I just mentioned Hanuman, I was reading before, around I think Shivaratri, how Srila Gurudev was telling that in my youth, I was around Bhakta, and I used to worship Hanuman so much. By the mercy of Hanuman, his original form as Gopishwar Mahadev in Vrindavan blessed me to be able to come to Vrindavan into the service of Radha and Krishna. So he acknowledged Hanuman as the connection from Gopishwar Mahadev, giving him that entrance. Right?
He told me also
that he had darshan of Hanuman.
No, Sitaram Lakshmana.
Gurudev told.
And from that day he became Krishna.
Gopishwara Vrajavilasi Yunangri Padme Prema Prayacha. Gopishwar Mahadev has the power, the potency to awaken praying for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, Vrajavilasi. I just wanted to share that. So, now Gurudev continues. If they are especially merciful to someone, they will instruct him in this way, meaning stay away from that thing which is unfavorable for bhakti. Only go toward bhakti. Otherwise, one would remain there and shaving his head would begin chanting the famous impersonalist aphorisms Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, and Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, aspiring for impersonal liberation. One time we were invited by a devotee to join a kirtan party. 5 different groups were coming together, like a bhakti fest. 5 different groups were coming together and we were going to do kirtan with one another. And they said they attained permission from Srila Gurudev. So then we said, okay, they asked Gurudev permission. And then 1 week before this festival, we said, what are the songs that they will be singing so that we can follow along? So they sent us the list of all the bhajans, the kirtans that the other groups will be singing. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Shivoham, Sarvakalvidam Brahma. And we were like, what? I don't think Gurudev would approve of us chanting these. So immediately we went to the internet cafe and we sent Gurudev a letter by email. Normally it took Gurudev 2 weeks to respond. As we were still there in the internet cafe, within half an hour, an emergency letter came back from Gurudev. The instruction was, because you have already been invited, you can go to this kirtan gathering. And you can do your kirtan. But when they do their kirtan, you should put the instruments down. You cannot use Mahaprabhu's instruments in their kirtan. That includes your voice and your hands. You cannot clap and you cannot sing in their kirtan. He said, but try not to offend them or insult them. He said, and if they ask you why, then you tell them our Siddhanta. Very strong. You cannot use Mahaprabhu's instruments in their kirtan. Put the instrument down, don't sing, don't clap. So we told the devotee there. The devotee there began crying, you've ruined everything, why did you go to Gurudev? We said, he's our Gurudev. We had a doubt, we had to question him. She became really upset, very upset with us. And she told all of the other groups that we will not participate. So then we went to the program 1 week later. And there was no other group except for us. Everyone else did not come. But many of the guests came. So the first question was, what happened? Where is everybody? And we just prayed to Gurudev, please, just speak through us. And somehow we were able to speak about the power of mantra, why we were chanting the mantras, but it was very interesting time. And from that program, 2 or 3 months later, I think a group of about 10 people came to have darshan of Gurudev.
How many people were in the audience?
Maybe 30, not so much. But all the other groups pulled out. But that instruction was very powerful from Gurudev. So here he's saying that if they were not instructed to go away from this, one would remain there, and shaving his head, they would begin chanting these famous impersonalist mantras, aspiring for nirvishesh Brahma, impersonal liberation. But being merciful to this Brahman, Mahadev and Parvati told him, run away from here quickly, you must not stay. Mukti is like a tigress that will devour you, and you will never emerge from its mouth. Run from here quickly and don't turn back. Go straight to Mathura, bathe at Vishram Ghat, and then proceed directly to Vrindavan. What mercy is this? In Srimad Shiksha, Raghunath Das Goswami refers directly to this. Katha Mukti Vyagra. That hearing this katha of liberation is like the wide open mouth of a tiger. Once it catches you, it's very difficult to leave it. Srila Mahaprabhu, he says, Mayavada Bhasa Shunale Hoi Sarvanash. If you hear this conception, everything will be destroyed. What is he referring to? Your inclination to serve Krishna, your inclination to move forward on the path of bhakti, all of that inspiration or inclination can be destroyed, entertaining and hearing these conceptions. So he warns us to be very careful. In the same way as Mahadev and Parvati told him, run very far away from here, don't stay here, go very quickly. Stay away from that dangerous tiger which will destroy you. And then, of course, the ultimate mercy, go bathe in Vishram Ghat and then directly proceed to Vrindavan. This is mercy. Yes. Yes. So Srimati Umadidi is reminding that also Rupa Goswami told that bhukti mukti spriha javata pishachi. That the desire for mukti, liberation, and bhukti, material enjoyment, this is like a witch or a ghost that will devour your heart, the desire for this thing. So all of our Guru Varga are warning us away from this. Be very careful. This is not in line with the nature of your Atma. You can get trapped, and who knows how long you can remain in that situation without being saved.
Gurudev also told it mukti is like it will be like a stone. Nothing.
So she's saying that Srila Gurudev also told that with mukti you will become like a stone.
If you wanted to merge with what is, it never possible to merge with the Brahma Sadhya, Ishvara Sadhya.
Yes.
It will be like a stone, no, nothing you will get, no chetana.
You become like a dull stone, nothing, no gyan, no nothing.
No ananda, no anything.
So she's making a very powerful point here, which our Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj very clearly told. No ananda. There's a term called Brahma Ananda. Param Gurudev said this idea of merging into Brahm and experiencing Ananda as something separate from it, he said this is just illusion. He said that is Maya. You won't experience anything. I remember we were in Fiji with Srila Gurudev. And he was talking about this particular subject. One devotee asked him a question about mukti, about someone progressing, that if someone goes there. He said they think they have attained mukti, but actually they are already fallen. Those who desire to merge into the form of the Lord or His effulgence, because they have acknowledged the Lord, they have acknowledged that He has a form, but still they don't desire to serve Him and worship Him. Because of being so hard-hearted, the Lord reciprocates with them by placing them deep, deep into the earth, deep inside, where they will remain in the forms of very hard stones like diamonds and crystals for the duration of the Brahmanda. They think they have attained merging, but what's the difference? Like those who would argue with Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, it's all one. Really, it's all one. Yes, I'm you and you are me. We're not really having this conversation. It's all an illusion. Have you ever had that conversation with someone? You? Oh my God, I was in Germany and for 4 hours this man was trying to convince me that our conversation was an illusion. And I was like, I don't want to talk with you anymore. He was like, we're not having this conversation. And he was really trying to convince me, but I was staying there so I couldn't run away from him. Anyhow, so Srila Gurudev said that we will become like that. Anyhow, Param Gurudev, he would say, okay, if you are one with this burning log, then eat this fire. If you are the same as that, then eat that. Then they'd be like, no. Right? If you are one, then you can eat stool. You're one with stool. Everything is one. There's no difference between you and everything else. Prove it. Eat fire. And then the truth comes out. Then the person starts running away. Our Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj was very, very fiery against this Mayavad conception.
One time Gurudev told, one that I went that time, one, he have no shape like that. So real Brahma is like a stool. He becomes become angry. Why you are angry? Because if you know, if I told them in this stool what's wrong, we are not even that he becomes angry.
So Didi is saying that one time Param Gurudev was having an argument with somebody, Mayavad, and then he ended up telling him that your conception and your goal is like stool. And he became very angry and he said, if you become stool and you merge into stool, then what's the difference? You are one with it, it doesn't matter. Whether it's stool or this. Even we have this conception, if your tongue was made of sugar and I gave you sugar to eat, what would you taste? Nothing. So to be one with something means you're not going to experience any variation. Where is there seva? If you feel that you are only one with something, you need to have individuality. Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita says, Brahmanohi pratishta aham. I am the source of this Brahma Jyoti. And he says, Mamai vangsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. That all the jivas, they are my eternally fragmented parts and parcels. He doesn't say that we are one. He says they are of me and they are for me. Everything has emanated from me. I am the seed-giving father of everything. And ultimately everything is meant for myself. Krishna is telling me. Everything is meant to serve him. But he said the souls cannot be merged. They cannot be mutated. They cannot be cut, dried, burned, killed, or anything like that. They always have their nature, and they are individual, like himself. So the idea of becoming one directly contradicts the words of Krishna, because he's telling that it cannot be that. Only you will find yourself in a state of, like a deep sleep, where you are completely anesthetized. You don't even know the difference between one thing or the other. It won't really matter. You will be like jada, like stone, like dull matter. Gurudev said, crystals, diamonds, and hard gemstones deep within the core of the earth, where you will remain for the duration of the Brahmanda. Maybe after it merges back into Mahavishnu, then comes out again, you might receive the opportunity again to move forward on the path of bhakti. So some people, they're really into taking shelter of crystals and gemstones. This might be Mayavad association. We should be careful.
And also, deep nature is always to love and always to serve.
Yes.
Nature is, it is tendency to love to serve. But now we are in love and service with Krishna. But when we love and service to Krishna, that is our real solution.
So she's telling that actually the nature of all jivas is to love and to serve. Actually love is expressed by service. They will only be satisfied by that. Right? Sabai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitiki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhiti. The only way to fully satisfy the self is to fully satisfy Krishna. That is the nature of all souls, and they cannot be satisfied by anything else, really. This is their essential nature. Krishna Nitya Das. So Prabhupada Sanjan Maharaj is reminding about Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, how he was previously an impersonalist philosopher, but due to the association of Mahaprabhu, it was interesting because in the beginning, he was speaking for 7 days and 7 nights, and Mahaprabhu was not responding at all. Completely like this, not responding. Sarvabhauma was giving all these big, expert explanations, but with Mayavad conception. And then finally he asked Mahaprabhu, why are you not asking any questions? Why are you not saying anything? And Mahaprabhu said, all of this time you've been only preaching the Mayavad conception. The moment you treated me as a person, then I'm responding.
I understand, but not the way you explain it, it's changed.
Yes. You're explaining it in the wrong way. Sarvabhauma was completely shocked. So she's saying that Mahaprabhu is saying that your explanation is like the cloud covering the sun. We cannot see the truth. You've covered the truth by your explanation. So then Mahaprabhu began to explain. But Sajjan Maharaj was saying how this Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was wanting to change the last words of this Tattva verse from Mukti Padesa Dayavak to Bhakti Padesa Dayavak. But Mahaprabhu explained that the real definition of mukti, the true definition of mukti, what is real liberation? Real liberation means coming into one's eternal nature as a loving servant of the Lord. This is real liberation. But most people who are seeking liberation are actually seeking cessation from material suffering, or they even want to be one with God because they think I'm going to be God and enjoy as God. So these are very different things. The real pure definition of mukti is coming into or awakening my nature as a loving servant of the Lord. Even as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the translation that our Srila Prabhupada gave is, one will attain everlasting peace. What does that mean? I have come into my nature. When we are going away from our nature, we will only find dissatisfaction. But when we flow with our nature, like a river flows toward the ocean, until it goes to the ocean, it's always feeling anxious, because water needs to seek its source. Srila Gurudev explained this in terms of different kinds of gravity. Fire does not go down, fire goes up, heat rises. Why? Because it is seeking its source, which is the sun. Water seeks its source, which is the ocean. Earth seeks the earth. Air seeks the air, naturally. So Srila Gurudev was explaining gravity like this. In the same way, when we are not engaged in our constitutional function of loving service to Krishna, then we will always be disturbed and never satisfied. Because we are going against our nature, then we will feel the effect.
One concept of that one time, what a mukti, that the idea of mukti, there's so much coming, taking bath and dying and doing suffering. So how can I finish all these things? So like a one man is something up so much. Going to doctor, so you can't look again. Then you will be quality, there's life.
So she's explaining what idea of mukti. the mundane idea of mukti. That really it's an endeavor to become free from the dualities of this material world. The sufferings and the happiness, because those who are experiencing both are seeing that it's just part of the same cycle, and both are contributing to each other. So I want to completely become free from that. I want cessation of all of this. Let me finish it. So the example she gave was like someone going to a doctor saying, I don't want to feel anything anymore. And then he says, well then cut your head and everything will be fine. So this idea of mukti, wanting to stop everything. This is like cutting one's own head, but this cannot satisfy any jiva. This cannot satisfy because it does not give the positive. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, beyond this material realm, there's another realm, transcendental. What is it? Apareyam itaspanyam prakritim vidhime param jiva bhuta mahabaho yaedam dharyate jagat. Beyond this material world, there's a transcendental realm. So coming to the point of cessation of material existence, this is not positive. It's not positive. Mahaprabhu also explains, like a person who is a criminal is being waterboarded, being dunked in the water and their head held down for the count of 20, 30 until they can barely breathe and their lungs start burning. And then for one moment, you bring their head up and then again, down again. Is it really pleasure? It's just cessation from that suffering, but it's not actually true pleasure. So this is like the mukti. It feels like it, but actually it's just cessation from suffering. But true pleasure, true happiness comes in connection with serving Krishna. Only by that, by giving one's love and affection to Krishna, can the Atma become fully satisfied and attain perfection. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Sanatan Goswamipada ki jai, Sri Beyond Vaikuntha ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Sri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you for...
Close the door, right? Because then people can't see well. It's like all the way down.
Shiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati Ko Shobha Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati Ko Shobha Jano Gurudeva দক্ষিণে নিতায় চাঁদ আমি গদাধর অনিকতে আগে দোষী বাস চতুর্ধার আছেন গোরাছা রথ সিংহাসনে আরতি করে আদি দেবতানে আরতি করে নানা বিভয় অলঙ্কার করে Vishakati Sakti Nana Ragega O Vishakati Sakti Nana Ragega Apiyara Sakti Jata Chamara
Jai Nityalila Pravishnu Vishnupa Shishimachara Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaja Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishnu Vishnupa Shishimachara Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishnu Vishnupa Shishimachara Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishnu Vishnupa Shishimachara Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishnu Vishnupa Shishimachara Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Jagat Guru Nityalila Pravishnu Vishnupa Shishimachara Bhakti Rakshak Shida Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishnu Vishnupa Shishimachara Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Jagat Guru Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mahama Bhagavad Bhakti Shodas Bhaji Maharaja Ki Jai. Saptam Goswami Sachidananda Shila Thakur Bhakti Vinod Ki Jai, Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya Shri Baladevi Devasant Prabhu Ki Jai, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Jai Ki Jai, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai, Jai Rup Sanatan Bata Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bata Das Raghunath Sant Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Swarup Damodaro Ramananda Digol Parshad Ki Jai, Namacharya Sharidas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Sri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopa Vrindavan Das Manatmaka Shri Braja Mandal Ki Jai, Shyama Prada Punyamana Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Seshwari Vishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Rani Ki Jai, Yogamaya Shri Purnamasi Devi Ki Jai, Gopeshwara Mahadev Ki Jai, Sarva Vishta Pradata Kshri Giriraj Dharan Ki Jai, Tribhuga Mangal Karishwari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Rajamanda Guramanda Kshetra Manda Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhara Sudarshan Ju Ki Jai, Sarva Vikna Vinaj Nishinga Bhagavan Ki Jai, Bhakta Prabha Shri Prarad Maharaj Ki Jai, Chari Sampradaya Charidam Chaya Ki Jai, Kalmatra Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Ki Jai, Krishna Ji Gaudiya Ki Jai, Giridhari Gaudiya Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gopinath Bhavan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nityananda Mahajana Ki Jai, Satchidananda Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Krishna
वाचा प्रकृतिश्च कृपा